Hi, this is Siegfried Gold. I'm introducing TermHub, which is a tool for working with concept sets. It lets you see the vocabulary hierarchy of the concepts that you're working with to compare concepts across multiple concept sets and look at usage counts and other things that are useful features that you don't get in some of the other concept set editors. To begin, you'll go to bit.ly TermHub. The link is here. bit.ly TermHub, bit.ly/TermHub. That will navigate us to a weird URL. This is hosted on Azure. Brings us to the TermHub landing page where we can start selecting concept sets. What we're going to do for the demo is to look at a concept set for thalassemia, and our first step would be to see if there's an N3C recommended one. And TermHub can actually help you find the N3C recommended concept sets. You go to the Help About page and then Recommended, and if we look around here, we find thalassemia, and if we grab the code set ID, we can go back to the search and paste that in, and here is that concept set. We then load concept sets. We could have selected more before loading, but having loaded that one, it shows us that concept set. It shows us some metadata about it. It may be particularly worthwhile to look at the intention, the limitations, and other metadata about it. You can find out who made it, etc. And then you also get a list of concept sets that have one or more concepts in common with whichever concept sets you've already selected. So if you click on one of these, it will add it to the selected list. Then we go to the CSET comparison page, which brings up a hierarchical list of concepts, all of the concepts that are in any of these. Thalassemia has this concept in it. If we look at the metadata again by clicking on the column header, we can see it's got 29 expression items and then 48 members in total. So thalassemia includes all of these, and then it explicitly excludes a number of concepts. And if we're looking at these other ones thinking that they might have things in them that we want, trait thalassemia, the VSAC one decided to include this, the clinically active one did not include it, and the N3C recommended one explicitly excluded it. And by the way, to figure out what these colors and symbols mean, you can click on the Show Legend button up here. That'll bring up the legend, and purple means that it's in the definition. It's one of the expression items, like this, plus descendants, or this, include descendants and exclude. It's purple if it's one of the expression items, but it's not in the final expansion, which since this is excluded, it won't be. It's got a check mark if it's going to be, if it's in the expansion, but was not one of the definition items. And then it'll be orange if it's both one of the definition items and there in the expansion. Blank if it's not in either. And then for these colors, you'll also see these flags D, M, and X, which are for include descendants, include mapped, and exclude. So say we think that the N3C one was too conservative in or what it included. We can start editing a new concept set by clicking that I just clicked on the button for create new concept set. And then this gives us buttons that will allow us to copy concepts from any one of the concept sets we've got selected on the screen over to our new one. So we're going to copy concepts over from the N3C recommended one, and now you can see those are there. You know, this one had been included without descendants. Apparently this was included with descendants, etc. And say we are now deciding we don't want to explicitly exclude those. So I could take the X off, but since it's a descendant of something that's already included, I could just delete it as an expression. And although it doesn't show it right now, in a future update, TermHub will show you the effects of including particular expressions, descendants, map to, etc. But right now it will only show you the expressions explicitly that you've chosen. You know, so I could add this and I could add descendants, etc. Once I've got the new concept set in the shape that I want it, I can click on the Show Instructions button, and this gives me the Atlas JSON that I could use to copy it into the enclave or copy it into Atlas if you want to make a concept set there. So I click there, and now I've got that on my clipboard. And now we're going to go to the enclave and create a new concept set version that will have this new concept set that we just designed. SIGI test, and go to versions, go down here to create new version. I have to give it a research project. Whoops. And, oh, whoops, it wants to know what version I'm starting with. So I'll start with the most recent. The version to start with tells us which concepts are going to be pre-populated in here. So there were 14 concepts in that version 9. But when I go to the draft version, the new draft version that I just created, it also has those 14 concepts, but I'm not going to use those. I'm going to go to Add Concepts, hit the down arrow, import Atlas JSON, and now I'm going to paste in that JSON that I copied earlier, hit the import button here. That'll give me 26 expression items. I can close this now. And if everything's as I want it, I can say done. I'm just going to say it now has 26 concepts, just so I can verify later that this is the, you know, that it, we're going to go back to TermHub and see that this concept set that we've just, or this version that we've just made in the enclave is now available in TermHub. Actually, it won't be available immediately. This is the code set ID. Going back to TermHub, if I go back to the search page and then I paste in that code set ID, it's not here. Now, if I wait till tomorrow, it will be here because we do a nightly import and any new changes in the enclave will be brought over to TermHub overnight. If I want it faster than that, I can go to the Help About page and I can tell it to refresh the database. So I click that button and it has begun a process where TermHub is going out to the enclave and bringing new concept sets, etc., back versions, etc., back to the TermHub database. That will take a little bit. It will probably take a couple of minutes before we would see the concept set at all, and then it actually takes the enclave a while before it processes all those expressions and expands it out to the members, and that can take between 10 and 40 minutes. So we're going to pause the video and come back, and at that point we should see our new concept set. Okay, it's a while later. When I come back to the CSET search page and paste in the code set ID, I see that SIGI test is here with 26 definitions. When I came back a couple minutes later, it showed 0 expansion concepts, but then a while after that, refreshed the page and then got 53 expansion concepts. So we'll add those. We'll add that to the list and go back to our comparison. And now actually our new CSET is there. This is the one that we copied over into SIGI test. And now you can see, all the green areas where concepts were added. Those are showing up as orange, or if they had an X on them, as purple. But then we're also getting the checkboxes to show us concepts that were included by virtue of being descendants. And as I said, eventually TermHub will show us that. But for now, you don't see it until the enclave does the expansion. TermHub has a number of other features that I'm not going to go into right now, but you have seen the basics, and thank you for taking the time.